Good Wednesday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our finally wet weather window. Take a look. Raindrops on the camera lens and also some showers moving through once again, and that's been pretty much our scenario throughout the mid to late afternoon. Shower activity, and I still think our heaviest shower activity still to come a little bit later on tonight. But this look down at the Wenatchee Valley from our cross camera up on Wenatchee Heights, and thank you to Sky-Fi and Localtel for providing this wet shot. We haven't seen wet weather since all the way back to June 15th here in the Wenatchee area, but it's not going away anytime soon. This is the first of actually 3 storm systems that'll move through as we get into Saturday. The first today, and we will see that periods of rain continuing tonight, and then we'll see another pretty good storm system move through on Friday, and then another one on Saturday before we begin to clear out by the end of the weekend. And we'll tell you more about our wet weather. And also, yes, thank you, Uriah. It's going to be a windy one tomorrow, especially for you folks to our east in the Columbia Basin, where winds could blow up to 30 miles an hour and possibly gusts up to 45 miles an hour. I don't think it's going to be that windy here in the Wenatchee area, but remember, along with the wind, we have that 80% chance of rain. More on that coming up in your weather forecast a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. Legislation regarding missing and murdered Indigenous women is now headed to President Trump's desk. Truckers are being warned that starting October 1st, they better stay on the designated truck route in East Wenatchee or they'll face a $200 fine. And saying the Northwest wildfire season has been a wide-scale disaster, 2 top forest officials warned today that fire danger remains extremely high, even with intermittent rain showers, as I just mentioned, in our forecast. But first, we begin tonight. The East Wenatchee Police Department is making use of its social media to try and find a vehicular hit-and-run suspect. No one was injured, luckily, in the September 14th incident, but the man seen in this video loop allegedly backed into a parked car at Cigarettes Cheaper on Grant Road. He was driving a blue-gray sedan and sped off down Grant Road and then turned left on Highline Drive toward Costco. The East Wenatchee Police Department posted this video on its Instagram. If you have any information about the collision, they ask that you call Rivercom at 663-9911. Well, Washington lawmakers are applauding the passage of a bill they helped sponsor to better investigate cases of missing or murdered Indigenous women. The Urban Indian Health Institute says Native American women go missing or are murdered at much higher rates than women of other races. 4th District Representative Dan Newhouse and Washington Senator Maria Cantwell say the passage Monday of Savannah's Act will increase coordination among police agencies to make such cases a priority.
Facts of the matter are, we don't even know the full extent of the crisis. In my home state of Washington, Native Americans make up about 2% of the state's population. But a recent report by the Washington State Patrol shows that Indigenous women account for 7% of the state's reported missing women. The families of dozens of women still await answers as cases of missing or murdered Indigenous women remain open or turn cold. Yet this crisis has gone on for decades with little to no action by the federal government. Complicated law enforcement jurisdictions have caused many problems throughout these investigations, and far too many tribal law enforcement agencies lack the resources or access to critical databases to help solve these cases.
This issue has become an epidemic in the United States. Last year, the Seattle Indian Health Board released a report that examined the number of murdered and missing Native women in urban areas where 71% of Native Indians and Alaska Natives reside. So these are urban centers in which they found at least 506 cases of murdered and Indigenous women and girls in 71 cities. 128 were missing, 280 were murdered. The report found that Washington State had one of the highest numbers of cases of murdered and missing Native American women, and 2 of my state's largest cities, Seattle and Tacoma, are in the top 10 nationwide of the highest number of cases. Seattle ranks number 1.
The bill now goes to President Donald Trump's desk, where he is expected to sign it. Well, truckers are being warned that starting on October 1st, they better stay on the designated truck route in East Wenatchee or they'll face a $200 fine. The rule applies to trucks that have a gross vehicle weight over 26,000 pounds. Those trucks are only allowed on Sunset Highway and Grant Road as far as Kentucky Avenue. There's an exception on Eastmont Avenue and Ninth Street for commercial vehicles hauling agricultural products. The truck route enforcement campaign includes digital signs now in place warning truckers of those fines. Well, saying the Northwest wildfire season has been a wide-scale disaster, two top forest officials warned today that fire danger remains extremely high, even with rain showers in the forecast. Bureau of Land Management Washington, Oregon Director Barry Bouchou and Forest Service Regional Forester Glenn Casamassa said in an open letter that the combination of the COVID-19 pandemic and wildfires have us, quote, in the midst of two historic wide-scale disasters, unquote. They said in the weeks ahead, there will be many conversations about management of public lands. In the past week, firefighters have battled more than 30 major fires in Washington and Oregon. More than 1 million acres in Oregon and more than 700,000 acres in Washington have burned this year. The Pearl Hill Fire in Douglas County is the biggest fire in both states at 223,000 acres, while the Cold Springs Fire in Okanagan County is the third largest at almost 190,000 acres. Both fires have been largely contained. Well, coming up next, crews on the Wenatchee Heights Road Improvement Project began crushing and pulverizing the pavement on the existing roadway today so it can be recycled and blended in with the cement for the new road. Trail users at the Leavenworth National Fish Hatchery can get a kid-friendly lesson in ecology, and they can do it right now. And trick-or-treating amid the pandemic will require special safety measures. We'll tell you about it. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
You love to help others. You need a solid career. You can have it all with help from Charter College. Our 10-month medical assistant program prepares you to work in healthcare settings like physician offices, rehab centers, and clinics. You'll learn to take patient vitals, assist with exams, administer injections, and maintain medical records. When you're ready to launch a rewarding healthcare career, visit chartercollege.edu because we work to get you to work.
Mary Maids of Wenatchee has been professionally cleaning and sanitizing homes and businesses in North Central Washington since 1998. Mary Maids uses commercial-grade cleaners and viricides. Mary Maids has implemented additional safety and sanitation protocols. They are strictly following CDC guidelines for the safety of their clients and employees. For expert help with cleaning and sanitizing your home or business, call or look up Mary Maids of Wenatchee to schedule your free estimate today. Don't worry, all the fun is around the corner. There's no better time to get ready than now with Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa sale. Stock Up and Save sale is now going on in-store and online at bluelagoonpoolandspa.com. Even pool heaters are on sale. Financing available upon approval. Credit 24-month, no interest with equal payments. Stop by today or order online at bluelagoonpoolandspa.com. Free water testing available in-store or curbside. Don't wait, the sale is going on now.
Welcome back. In another news, crews on the Wenatchee Heights Road Improvement Project began crushing and pulverizing the pavement on the existing roadway today so it can be recycled and blended in with the cement for the new road. Chelan County Public Works says the process called full-depth reclamation is followed by a mat of asphalt being placed on top of the cement. The $2.4 million project includes widening the road, taking out a hairpin turn, and installing new guardrails. Work is expected to be completed in mid-October. Trail users at the Leavenworth National Fish Hatchery can get a kid-friendly lesson in ecology, and they can do it right now. The Friends of Northwest Hatcheries Association has posted colorful pages around the trails from a children's book on the topic of decomposition, the natural process that supports life even in the midst of death. Parents and guardians can read the pages aloud to a preschooler or ask a young school-age children to read to them. The association says it's a way to educate kids about the environment while they explore the trail system. Trick-or-treating amid the pandemic will require special safety measures. Wenatchee organizers say they plan to carry on with the traditional candy distribution by businesses, but this year as a candy cruise with kids receiving treat bags in their family vehicles. There'll be 3 opportunities for pickup on Halloween Day, 1 to 3 p.m. in downtown Wenatchee, 2 to 4 p.m. at Pybus Public Market, and 2 to 5 p.m. at Town Toyota Center. Volunteers will be working in masks and gloves, and participants must wear a mask as well. It shouldn't be too hard, considering what day it is. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
I have fiber at home because it allows me to do a great job in my profession. It allows me to learn things that I need to learn at home. It allows my kids to hopefully one day be able to be educated because of what they learned online and what they learned from their teachers. And it allows us to have fun too as a family. And we're able to do a lot of things because of fiber internet. I'm Rudy, and my family learns with fiber.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. We are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Among the many honors Wenatchee icon Carl Campbell received over the years was the 2012 Legacy Award at the Wenatchee Valley Chamber of Commerce annual banquet. Campbell, who built a nationwide senior living empire and gave back to the community in so many ways, died last week at age 98. A video by Wenatchee Valley Business World as part of the Legacy Award presentation highlighted the important role Campbell played in the community. The full video will air tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Here's a peek.
I've known Carl Campbell for a little better than 50 years. I first met Carl in 1959 when I was appointed to the Deaconess Hospital Board. During that time, we were involved in negotiations for the merger of the 2 hospitals. We were successful in doing that, and I give a great deal of credit to Carl Campbell for the success of that venture. Carl had a really good knowledge of healthcare. He was respected because of his business ability, and he was respected because of his interest in doing what was best for the community.
First time I remember meeting Carl Campbell was soon after he and his wife Betty started Parkside Nursing Home, and Ruth and I had started our company, Ballard Ambulance. He started out in a way that most people would never think of it. Carl was doing things like mopping floors and carrying bedpans around, and Betty was doing all of the bookkeeping and things of that nature. I remember from the very start that knowing that this gentleman was one of the kindest people that I had met, someone that I grew to greatly admire over our many years of having a relationship.
My first association with Mr. Campbell were giving him some flight training in his brother's Cessna 320 in 1978, and in 1979 became associated with him as he was one of the owners of Rent-A-Jet, which bought a Turbo Commander. And late in 1979, he and I were flying to San Diego. We were over Central California, and he looked down and said, "Is that Sacramento?" I said, "Yes, it is." He said, "I thought so. That's one of my buildings down there." Kind of one of my first understandings of the areas that he had businesses in.
Carl built first down on Monitor Street the Parkside 44-bed convalescent center, added to that twice, put apartments and expansion of it. And later in '68, he built this building, which is Vista 1. Convalescent center was on the first floor, and the next three floors were apartment buildings.
There are so many people who speak with reverence about Mr. Campbell. He has touched so many lives in incredible ways, and even every day you find him walking the halls and the apartments at Colonial Vista, visiting with people and giving his kind words. Few have I ever seen so compassionate.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast, and you can believe it, it's raining out there. We haven't talked about that since June 15th, but this has been our situation from about mid-afternoon on, and I still think maybe the heaviest rain still to come a little bit later tonight. We'll have to wait and see, but of course this looking down from the Wenatchee Heights in our cross camera provided by Sky-Fi, and you can see the light shower activity along the Cascades. We're not expecting downpours of rain, so if you're expecting that, that's probably not going to happen, but I think we will see just light misty rain quite a bit throughout the evening hours, which will taper off probably around bedtime or so. But high temperatures reflected those clouds and rain showers today. Unofficially today, only 67 degrees, and that's 7 degrees below where we should be at 74 for this time of year. We started off nice. We just didn't gain that much temperature-wise today. 59 our low this morning, 50 is normal. Record high 1974. Record high was 90 degrees. The record low year 1996, where it was 36 degrees. This was done a while ago, so we've picked up more than a trace now, and we'll update that for you tomorrow night when we get together again. 2.66 inches. That finally is going to change. Isn't that nice? Sunrise 6:50 this morning. Sunset 6:55. So almost an even amount of daylight and darkness, and that'll happen over the next couple of days. As we take a look at how your Thursday will shape up, not as much rain in the forecast, although clouds will be out there and they will develop some rain showers probably late in the afternoon. In fact, we have a 40% chance of those showers throughout our viewing area. Mid-70s for Moses Lake, lower 70s in Quincy and Ephrata, and then mainly mid to upper 60s around the Wenatchee Valley up into Aniat. Chelan will see 66, and Omak, the cool spot tomorrow among the major cities with a high tomorrow of 65. As we take a look at tonight, boy, this storm system, we talked about it. It was gigantic. It came down from the Gulf of Alaska, and then this high pressure area is pushing it back up north, but that's bringing us some nice wraparound moisture as it comes into Washington State. 70% chance of the wet stuff tonight, and as I mentioned, I think our heavier stuff will be about 8 o'clock or so. And then for Thursday, partly cloudy, a bit breezy in the afternoon as this storm system moves up, and then another storm begins to develop on Thursday. And as we move into Friday, that storm will move over us, and look at all of the wind around Washington State on Friday, at least 10 to 20 miles an hour in Wenatchee, but we do have an 80% chance of rain. I'm not convinced it should be that high. Usually with the big wind event, not a lot of rain associated with that. For Saturday, mostly cloudy skies. We're still going to see a 60% chance of rain because our third storm system will shoot waves of moisture our way as well. And then as all of this unsettled weather moves away, yeah, it's going to be breezy on Sunday too, and you can see that right here in north central Washington. We do just have a chance for maybe an isolated shower or two on Sunday afternoon, but it will be warmer, and that trend will continue right into Monday. Look at the high pressure ridge up and over almost all of the west and central part of the country. Dry conditions on Monday with high temperatures in the mid-70s, and as we move into Tuesday, it's going to feel more like summer. Sunny skies and warm. Most of us here in north central Washington will be right at 80 degrees. Let's take a look now at your Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling 7-day forecast. Good chance for rain tonight, 53 our low, 70 tomorrow, a 40% chance for showers developing in the afternoon, and 70, as I mentioned, cool 52 our overnight low. Windy, an 80% chance of rain on Friday. Don't know if we're going to see that big a chance, but we'll have to wait and see. Cloudy, a 60% chance of rain on Saturday, and then as the showers taper off at the end of the weekend, that will make way for a big old ridge of high pressure. 80 your high on Monday, and 81 the high on Tuesday. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
From the ocean to the mountains to the forest in between, vacation time can be a fun time. But not if your car breaks down. Call Global Car Care today. Have a service approved over $150 on your vehicle, and Global Car Care will donate an oil change service to one of our local heroes at Confluence Health. Look for more incentives online. Global Car Care cares about their community. And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Wednesday to you. The Mariners' slim hopes of making the playoffs took a big hit last night in the form of a 3-run home run by Houston's Martin Maldonado. As the Astros down the Seattle Mariners 6-1. Maldonado's homer capped a 5-run sixth inning and reduced Houston's magic number to clinch a playoff spot to 2 games. The game was tied at 1-1 heading into the 6th. After the teams traded runs in the first, Kyle Tucker drove home Michael Brantley on a sharp single for Houston. Seattle countered in the bottom of the frame when Kyle Seager doubled home J.P. Crawford. After a shaky first, Seattle starter L.J. Newsome settled into a nice groove, lasting 4 1/3, allowing a run on 4 hits with a strikeout and a walk. Manager Scott Service was happy to see Newsome bounce back from his last start.
I thought L.J. Threw the ball pretty well. Those results were good. The plan going into the game was, let him go through the lineup twice, and he was able to do that and kept us right there. And then going to Casey Sadler. I think, Casey might be one of our hottest relievers. He's just been awesome since we've acquired him, and he's adjusted his arsenal a little bit. Tonight he just wasn't quite as sharp. He gave up the home run to Brantley, and then was in some trouble there and threw a ton of pitches in that second inning. So obviously Brennan made the mistake to Maldonado, and that was kind of the deciding factor in the game when he hit the ball out of the ballpark. So thought our plan going in was good. I think like I said, LJ did a nice job, and like Sadler had been so sharp here recently, just wasn't quite on his game tonight, and they threw some good at-bats at him, so you have to give them credit.
Kyle Seager ended up 2 for 4 with a run and an RBI. Crawford was 2 for 4 with a run. Seattle and Houston wrapping up that series today. Nick Margavich facing Zach Greinke at T-Mobile Park. On the Les Schwab American League West scoreboard, Angel catcher Max Strassi hit a 2-run, or actually hit 2 home runs and drove in 4 to lead Los Angeles to a 4-2 win over San Diego. Caleb Smith and Ryland Smith combined on a 6-hit shutout of Texas in Arizona's 7-0 win. Carson Kelly did the damage offensively with a 3-run homer for the D-backs. Dodgers claimed the 8th consecutive National League West title with a 7-2 win over Oakland. L.A. clubbed 4 home runs, including Corey Seager's 14th of the season. Seattle's loss combined with the Angels' win helped L.A. leapfrog the Mariners into second place in the AL West by a half game. Well, following key injuries, the Seahawks are looking from within to find some help. Seattle officially placed Bruce Irvin and Marquise Blair on injury reserve today and added 3 players from the practice squad, actually 2 players from the practice squad. In their place, Seahawks promoted cornerback Lyndon Stevens and defensive tackle Anthony Rush from the practice squad following yesterday's addition of receiver Philip Dorsett to injured reserve. That leaves 1 more roster spot available. Stevens, 2019 practice squad player for the Hawks, was picked up by Miami, then waived. Rush signed with the Eagles as an undrafted rookie last year, signed to Seattle's practice squad earlier this month. Well, Seth Frazier looks to wrap up the season points championship in the Dix Heating and Air Conditioning Thunder class this weekend at Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. Frazier leads Terry Osborne by 37 points heading into the final race of the season. Cameron Doyle in third with 240 points. Season championship for the Plum Perfect Roadrunners also to be determined this weekend. Mason Haygood comes into the race with 323 points. Standing in second is just a point behind third place Brandon Knuff. Carlin Coker of Leavenworth, going to be a good close weekend for them. Chad Holliday leads the Hollidays
Custom Muffler B-Mod Series with 160 points. Rocky Crocker is 13 back at 147. Moses Lake's Dave Zmack is in third at 143 points. All will be part of the season finale at Wenatchee Valley Super Oval on Saturday. In addition to the Neil Newberry 125 presented by Pepsi for the Northwest Super Late models, as well as the Tommy Wentz Classics for the Thunder cars. You can join us for the live coverage on Facebook at 5:30, live on TV here at 6 o'clock. Hey, by the way, if you didn't catch it over the weekend, the Seahawks home opener at Central League Field, I guess how could you considering no fans were allowed? Here is the team's new introduction video.
I'm the lightning, I'm the thunder, I'm the rain. I'm the storm, I'm the eye of the hurricane. I am a wave, I am a force, I can't be stopped. Knocking them down, head on the ground, watching them drop, 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 drop.
You can head to our Facebook page, tell us what you think. Now, to me, it feels an awful lot like the Seattle Kraken introductory video. Eastern Washington always left out with our Seattle sports teams. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Grandstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. And now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thank you, Grant. Wenatchee Valley, my guest will be Sergio Sanchez. He is an energy conservation specialist with the Chelan PUD because they had these great discounts going on at hardware stores and lighting stores all over North Central Washington, but these special discounts on LED lights ends at the end of this month. So you want to get getting while the getting is good. Switch to LED if you haven't already. Sergio will talk about that on Thursday's edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, plus news, sports, weather, and everything else you need to start your Thursday. Live and local at 7 a.m. Wake Up Wenatchee Valley tomorrow morning. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Dan. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.
Fishing is your dream? Make your dream a reality with a Smoker Craft boat from Bombfile Boats and Motors. It's not just about catching fish, it's about making memories. See a Smokercraft boat today at Bob File Boats and Motors. They also have a great line of pontoon boats big enough for fishing for the whole family. Find Bob File Boats and Motors online at bobfile.com or on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee.
Bob File Boats and Motors.